Evening, everyone. It's Wednesday evening. It's 6:30, and it was an interesting day. As I'm sure you know by now, the CPI came out. It was hotter than expected. Came out at plus 4/10 versus an expectation of plus 2/10, and that's the month over month. And on the year over year, it came in at 5.4% versus 5.2% last month. We have inflation, we have energy costs, we have automobile costs. Those are the things that, food and energy was really the focus of it. And we had a bunch of earnings today, and they were kind of a mishmash. But as far as the banks, JP Morgan closed down 436 or 2.6%. Apple had the talk about the cutback in iPhone orders to suppliers, not being sold to the public. It was down just 65 cents. But Delta, which was this morning when we talked, Delta was down only 50 or 60 cents. On their numbers, it finished 4103, down 251 or 5.8, and their issue is absolutely fuel. But there were a lot of oversold FANG stocks, and we had things like Amazon up 37 or 1.1%. We had Microsoft up 1.2%, 296 and change, up 343. And after being down most of the day, they really tried with the Dow, but it finished down 53 cents. I can't even bother with a percentage on that. And market internals were a little bit stronger, 5-3 to the upside. NASDAQ was the big winner, up 105.71 or 0.75%. And it was 4-3 advanced declines there. And volume was about unchanged. The S&P was up 13. The Russell was up 770, and the Dow transports were down 1290. So not much of a big day, but there were some pretty serious swings. We had the oil down 20 cents, no big deal. Clearly, the gold was a great performer. We went through that area I was talking about at 1768 and continued all the way up to 1797. I'm still looking for 18 to 1820, but we made the percentage play today, which was we sold the first half of the GDX calls that cost 48 cents. We sold the first half on the 100% up rule, and then a little later in the day, as it continued higher, we sold the balance at $1.33. So a really nice gain there. It's down a little tonight. I'd like to see it come down and maybe hold the 1775, 1780 area. And if we did that, I would probably go back into them. Bitcoin was up 1935. The dollar was much weaker today, down about 44 cents. I'll show you what that looked like. As you can see, it too was continuing to move higher, closed almost right on the high yesterday, made a slightly lower high and definitely a substantially lower low, closed 94.08. I'm going to say if we close on Friday below this, let's just call it 9,400. This close was 93.96.70. That we can come back and at the very least test 93.70 and possibly the last breakout at 93.50, and we'll see how that progresses. The next chart that I'm going to show you is the long bond, and this is why when we have something that gaps to the downside through the 50% rule, and gets so cheap so fast that we don't have the opportunity to sell it. This is why when an option on something that is a counter trend play, when we hit support and the options are a nickel, this is the best reason I can think of to show you why I don't sell them at a nickel. We had two big up days after this closing just above the uptrend line. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, it was a fairly substantial, I guess we can go back even further. It was a very substantial uptrend line. And as you can see, it was also the 200-week moving average. So these options today, they expire on Friday, but these options today closed at 48 cents, up 19 cents after being up about 250% yesterday. So I just wanted to show you why, and I just don't see the point to selling options when they get that low in price. So we've recovered a fair bit there. Okay, tomorrow we have the PPI, Producer Price Index, which also probably ought to come in hot. Being Thursday, we also have initial and continuing claims, and we have more earnings. God, I just hate this time of the quarter. But tomorrow we have Bank of America, Citi, Morgan Stanley, Taiwan Semi, UNH, Domino's Pizza, and Alcoa. So we'll talk to you in the morning, and don't forget to try and hit that subscribe and the notification button. And of course, I remind you, if you're interested in trading futures, I'm more than happy to make the introduction. You really need to give a call and at least have the information so that you can make an informed decision. There are big tax advantages. And for those of you who don't want to make a major commitment, I remind you that Dennis is doing the gold or metals only for 15,000, and he's just really on fire as far as trading goes. Have a good evening. I'll be back in